Hello, everybody. Welcome to Life Abuse. You'll notice that I'm a little different than Bree. Bree is the actual host of this channel, but she has allowed me to come on here and host this episode of Life Abuse. So in this episode, we're going to be doing it a little bit different. It's going to be interview style. And the reason why we're doing this is we really want to spread awareness on abuse, abusive relationships, how this can happen, how you as a person, man or woman, can find yourself in a situation where you are being abused by another person, and how it starts off with grooming and love bombing, and that the person that starts to abuse you is not the same person that you thought you were getting when you said I do or when you entered a relationship with them. And that is really what we want to focus on today. So I have a few questions here for Bree, and she's going to share her story of what it was like for her and how it began for her in her situation. All right, Bree, how are you doing today, first of all?
I am good, my love. How are you doing today?
I am good.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first question I have here for you, Bree, is where did you meet him?
So, hi everybody. Today I am being interviewed. So, I met my ex on an online dating app. The name of the app, I can mention it. It was CDFF, Christian dating site, in 2019.
Okay. All right. And what was it about him that drew you to wanting to have a relationship with him?
So it was pretty much um him. I would say that it was my belief that he was a godly man. So that drove me, and I decided that okay, well, he says he's a godly man. So I will just stop talking to other men that I was
Yeah.
talking to. And then I decided to give him a chance because he sounded to be more godly. Everything with him was about God, God this, God that. So I was drawn to that. You know what I'm saying? So that I decided to give him a chance and just stop talking to any other man.
Yeah, you really wanted to go all in. You thought he was, the
That
perfect
was
guy.
exactly because in my status he saw that I mentioned something on my status that I'm a God-fearing woman, and I'm looking for the same man who puts God first in his life. So the first message he said to me was, it's not, I cannot say word for word though for what he said, but it was something like, I love that about you, that, you are putting your foot down, that you never accept anything other than a godly man in your life. What a wonderful trait. I admire that. So there was a charming statement that he used, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he started like, oh, do we care to church? Do you care to chat and stuff like that? Like, we started talking, and yeah, I was just drawn by this person. We're talking about God. And then we started talking, we praying together, we will read the Bible, we video chat, talk about God, and it was amazing.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, there, Bree, looking back, were there any red flags that you missed at the time? So, before you even answer that, I just want to elaborate on that question. So, like you said, things are going good. This person seems incredible, as they often do. But, like, looking back, though, could you see things now that you wish you would have maybe picked up on or went a little further into investigating on?
Looking back now, yes, there were red flags. But however, when you are in love, you don't see no red flags. But red flags are always there. So the red flag that I saw was the fact that he demanded too much attention. Whenever he knew that if I don't talk to him, I was busy, I was at work. However, even though I was at work, he would still expect me to text him and respond to him. Even though he know I'm working, he would say something, he still expect me to respond back. And if I don't respond back, what's going on, babe? Are you okay? You know, so that was a red flag that I missed right there. I'm like, okay, he's demanding too much attention. And I know in a long distance relationship, you have to talk more with the person, video chat and stuff like that. But however, it was excessive.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Was there ever a time in your relationship that you were extremely confused at how he was treating you compared to the person that you thought you were with? So the person you fell in love with in the beginning.
So to answer that question, I was very confused after. I'll talk about my wedding night.
Okay.
My wedding night, it was during COVID lockdowns, and because of restrictions and all that, we had to pretty much elope. We got married. It had to be 5 people pretty much because only people had to be him and I, pastor, and then 2 witnesses, his witness and my witness. So um looking back from where I met him and when I met him, and then knowing that he's a godly man and all that, and also fast forward to me moved to Newfoundland and to have a serious relationship, you know, marriage and all that. Looking back, red flags, I saw them more inside not inside, but well, inside one more inside the marriage, but it was on the wedding night where I saw a lot of red flags because just after we got married, there was a lot going on. He was just touching my thighs and stuff like that, telling me that, oh, let's go to a hotel room. So, and I'm like, why do we have to go to a hotel room right now? We just got married. You know what I'm saying? And he's telling me that, well, I've been holding myself for a long time. I cannot afford to wait. I'm like, excuse me? It's like, oh yeah, you know that like I told you that my past is bad. I had issues with sexual, you know, sexual side or sexuality. So I really want us to go to a hotel. He was busy rubbing, you know, his hands in my thighs. I was uncomfortable, and he was like putting his, you know, it was the dress that I was wearing. It was a blue dress. I remember it very well. It was just uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, I was like, wait a second, did he just say that? You know what I'm saying? Looking back to the person that I met, you know, when I was in a different province, because I was living in Alberta when we met, and he had flew there, meet me in person. And then when we met in person, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes, and then he made a vow that day that I will never defile you until I marry you. So
Yeah.
he kept that promise though. He was a man enough to to be a man of his word. However, the red flag was rushing me. Like after I say I do, why would you have to rush me though? Why can't things happen natural? So why would you say that? Oh, okay, okay, this is about me, pretty much. Like, you know, I have been holding myself for a long time. So let's go to the hotel. I really need to have some time with you. You know what I'm saying? So looking back, I'm like, okay, that's not what a godly man should do. Things. So move forward. We went to a hotel room. I said to him, look, how about we go for a drive first? I'm like, there was not much to do because of COVID restrictions and everything. So we went for a drive across the bay and we came back. Um, and then we went to a hotel room when things started. And I can
Yeah.
tell you right now that my wedding night was very horrible because in his head, we we had to have sex. And it was a horrible experience for me, for because I was waiting for a godly man, and I met this man thinking that he's a godly man, and he's rushing me. He's telling me, "Oh, hey, I haven't had sex in a long time. I was I was waiting, So like, let's do this." The way he dealt with the situation was very, very. If I look back right now, I'm like, what it was, what did I do? So what that mistake that I have done, thinking that this person is a godly man, and then when I found out that, oh, okay, we just got married, and I found out that, okay, this is a red flag right here. Okay, so fast forward to that, we got into a hotel. It was uncomfortable because like, oh yeah, let's do this. He pushed me to bed, and it was very uncomfortable situation. I screamed, I cried because I was a pure woman waiting for marriage, and it was very horrible. And for me,
Right.
he did not, yes, for me, he did not even care at all. He had to fulfill his sexual needs. He did not care for me as a spouse, that he just vowed, to say his vows to love and cherish me till death do us apart. But why would you do something that is not cherishing me at all? Why would you hurt me just because you want to satisfy your desires as a man? Another thing that happened right there that I would like to disclose is the fact that right in that messed up situation of me screaming and crying, I'm telling them it's painful. Stop, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Oh, hang on a second. What's?" I said, "I need to go to the washroom. Stop." He wouldn't. And it came to a point I was screaming more and more because I was not enjoying. It was very painful. It was uncomfortable. I told him that I need to go to the bathroom, please. And then he ended up saying that, "Oh, hang on a second." And then for him, in his head, he was expecting me to bleed in the bed sheets. And then when I woke up from the bed and I started having blood dripping all over the floor and stuff like that at the bathroom, and he was following me around, he's asking me silly questions as to, were you really a pure woman? That was just a messed up question a man can ask a woman who's having a fast night. And he was searching everywhere in the bathroom, like looking for. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this person? I'm crying here. I'm uncomfortable. I'm in discomfort. He's busy, paranoid, asking silly questions as to, were you really a pure woman though? Why didn't you bleed in the bedsheet? Why are you bleeding on the floor? So it was just horrible. And after that, he's like, come back to bed. Come back to bed. I went in the bed and I'm like, no, we don't have to do this. Let's stop. I'm hurting. He did not care about my feelings. So the vows that he just made that day were fake. Because in my understanding, he should have respected me. That I
Definitely.
love this woman. I'm vowing to be with her. What's the rush? If we have forever together, what's the rush then? Must we have must we be intimate that night? Was that something that had to be done that day? Was that a must? Something that was bizarre also was that after that, he's like, okay, let's go somewhere. I'm like, I'm hurting right now. It's like, oh, let's go somewhere. Like, I understand now when I look back that, you know what, to this person, I was just a trophy wife that he liked to show off, and stuff like that about me. Oh, I married a black, beautiful woman. To him, it was a status. You know what I'm saying? Like, he liked to show off and stuff like that. But, we went to inside the vehicle, and it was uncomfortable for me to walk and everything. We got to a pharmacy. Um, we had to get some stuff like some pads because I was bleeding and stuff like that. And we got to a pharmacist in Corner Brook. Um, he embarrassed me. Went to a pharmacy and asked questions right there, like, my wife was pure, and we just got married today. So, is it normal for a pure woman to not bleed in bed? to bleed on.
So crazy.
You know, it was just bizarre. He didn't even care to ask me whether, are you comfortable, dear, or babe, or whatever. Are you comfortable for me to ask, a pharmacist this question about you? He didn't care about that.
Another, another thing too, Bree, is like if you were in so much discomfort, like why didn't he just let you stay in the car? Do you know what I mean? It was almost as if he wanted to embarrass you.
Oh, hotel room. He could have said, okay, love, I'm gonna leave you here. I'll go to the pharmacy or whatever close by to get you something that'll help you feel comfortable, or pads or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it was just horrible. And after that, after we went to a pharmacy, we went back. It's like, oh, I need some time again. I'm like, are you serious? So it was just horrible. When I look back, I'm like, this is not a godly man supposed to behave like this. No, not at all.
No, you're right, for sure. I'm really sorry you went through that. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Okay. All right. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Thanks for letting me share my story, and also um, to let things out, because every time I talk about this with him, it was always creating uh, like not good vibes, like bad atmosphere at home. There was no peace at all. So I had to pretty much shut up about everything that was bothering me in that marriage. I did not have to have a voice. If I voice out my opinions or how I feel about things, it's a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm
totally
glad
understand.
that I'm able to let things out, to share my experience about everything.
So I'm glad that you're able to do that too.
Thank you.
You're very strong.
Thank you.
Um, so, in your opinion, then, what is the biggest red flag that a person should look for in a relationship?
A good question. So I would advise people out there that when you see somebody treating you other than how you deserve to be treated as a woman, as a person, run. Don't make
Yeah.
excuses for anybody. Love is not enough for you to be abused. If somebody is abusing you or treating you other than loving you, if somebody says that I love you and then abuse you, that's not love. Run.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice.
Thank you.
Um, and that leads me into my next question, actually.
Okay.
What advice would you give somebody who finds themselves in a abusive situation?
Good question, sweetheart. So if you find yourself in an abusive situation, there's help out there. Talk to somebody about it. Don't die inside, because when you let things inside you, it will start eating you up day after day, and you will find yourself in a messed up situation mentally. Speak to somebody about what you're facing. Get help. And it begins with you, okay? So if you are not okay, you cannot take care of somebody else. For myself, I had to make tough decision of leaving my ex for myself and also for the safety of my child. I had to put my child first, though, because I could not I could not stay in that abusive situation just because I married the person and I vowed till death do us apart. No, I had to be alive to be a mother to that child. So I had to make tough decision of leaving that relationship so that I can be alive for the child, but the child needs me to be alive. So if you find yourself in a messed up situation of being abused, I would encourage you to get help. There are a lot of resources out there. Speak to somebody about it. There are organizations that help people to speak up, to get help. Talk to somebody that you trust. It could be your family doctor. It could be your pastor. Hang on a second. Pastors out there, I got something to tell you. When
Go
somebody
for it.
you and tell you that, oh, my husband or my boyfriend or anybody is abusing me, don't be encouraging people to stay in an abusive situation. Y'all pastors are making a mistake by encouraging victims to stay with abusers. That's not right. That's not how God wants his daughters to be treated. Okay? When women come forward and say, he's abusing me, do not condone abuse and be like, oh, forgive and whatever, whatever. Yes, you can forgive. You can forgive, but do not encourage people to be abused.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's definitely something that we should talk further on.
Exactly. I want to talk more about this.
All right. What have you learned from your experience in an abusive relationship?
I've learned that it's not as black and white like that. I'm not mean that like in a you know what I mean. I mean
I know.
it's not it's not things are not as what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
People could say something, especially my ex used God's name. I thought he was a godly man, and then everything was perfect. I'm not saying all these things just because I hate him or we had dispute or blah blah blah. At some point, he was a good man. At some point, I was in love with him. At some point, I thought that I would spend eternity with him, but that did not happen. It does not mean that I hate him. At the end of the day, he's still the father of my child, and I want him to be a better person for himself. I moved on. I'm okay. Life goes on, but but be a good person, because you don't want somebody else to have scars because of you. You know what I'm saying? So what I could say also is the fact that, like, when somebody says that they are who they are, be who you said you were before. Don't be lying to people and say, oh, I'm a godly man, I'm this, I'm that. And then you turn around and you are not what you said you were. You are not genuine. Be straight up. Don't lie to people. Lying to me for him made me to miss opportunities to be with other men that I could have been still married with them. I never once thought that one day I'll be a single mother, but here I am. I am going through divorce and single mother and stuff like that. Nobody, I don't think that anybody will ever get married and say that, oh, I'm planning to have a divorce in the next 2 days, or maybe that happens in Vegas. I don't know. I don't know. But don't be ruining somebody's life. Don't deprive somebody opportunity to have to have a better life with other people that they could have met. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bree, for sharing some of your story. Before we end this video, though, we are going to talk a little bit about shame.
Okay.
So when it comes to shame, a lot of the times when a person has been a victim of, relationship abuse, sexual assault, anything like that, there comes this huge shame. And it often stops people from speaking out and having a voice, like Bree was talking about earlier. But I just want to say and encourage anybody that's watching here today and remind you that that shame is not yours to carry. Okay, that shame belongs to the other person that decided to hurt you. It's not yours to carry. You did nothing wrong. And I think that, like, once we can recognize as people that have been through abuses and things like that, that shame is not ours, that is when you can really be free. And you can speak freely about the things that has happened to you, and hopefully encourage somebody else along the way. So I just want to thank you, Bree, for being so honest about your experiences. Thank you for having me host this very important video today.
So
I love you
I
dearly.
do have a last word though. I would like to say.
Absolutely.
Hey, you who you know who you are, my ex, if you ever find yourself watching this podcast, of which I believe that you would, this is my message to you. Get help so you be a better man for yourself. Okay? A better man for our child, because at the end of the day, you are still a father. A better man for other children that you have. You don't want those children that you have to have people talking about their dad. Oh, my dad. Oh, your dad did. Oh, your dad is that. Your dad is this. You don't want that embarrassment to your children. Get help to become a better person for the next woman that you will meet in your life. The mistake that you have done with me and with other women out there, do not put an end to this pattern, because it's not right. We are daughters of God, and God will vindicate for us as women. Be better for yourself, for your children, for the next woman that you meet in your life.
Absolutely. Well said. Absolutely well said. That's all I have to say. Apart from that, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to also thank you as well for hosting today, and also giving me an opportunity to talk about myself and my experience. We should do this more often.
We certainly will. All
I
right.
love you, good people out there. If you find yourself in a situation, there is help. Do not die inside, because life is more than what you're going through, and then you're afraid to get help. You think that lives revolve around that situation you're facing. No, it does not. Okay, get help. There's help out there.
Absolutely. I guess this is the end.
This is the end. Thank you so much for having us today, Miss Tamara, and thank you, everybody. This is Still Love Abuse. I love you with all my heart. Stay tuned.
Bye.
Wait. Oh, I should have stopped this. You know, we live at very difficult times in our world these days, where good is bad and where bad is good, where good people like you and I have been oppressed by the evildoers, and where evildoers have been endorsed by the devil to oppress good people like you and I. Do you know why they hate us? Because we got God by our side, and we have truth, and the truth is of God. Let me communicate something to you, evildoers. What's this for? For what? For money? We shall all leave money behind the grave. Shame on you, evildoers. To good people out there, people of God who stand by truth, who has truth and light of God, I want to leave you with a word of encouragement that is found on the book of Isaiah 54:17. That says, no weapon formed against you will prosper, and you will condemn every tongue that rises against you in judgment. Guess what? We will judge the evildoers. Any tongue that is rising against us right now at Judgment Day, we shall condemn. I love you, good people. Let's stand for what's right. Let's stand for truth, because truth has power to do one thing, to set us free. I love you with all my heart. This is Bree. Stay tuned.